Today I'm going to review a fantastic portfolio of a very talented UX UI designer that could still improve 3 crucial things to make this portfolio a banger. And for the rest of you who is watching this video, hopefully this review can help you understand the difference between agency and in-house focused portfolio, as well as the importance of the portfolio hosting. Let's go! Meet Narmina, who has provided us this portfolio for review. And sorry if I mispronounce your name, I googled how to do this properly, but I might be wrong. Anyway, thank you for being courageous and to help us all learn from your own work. And the first thing we can see is that this portfolio is published on Behance. And this is where I would love us to talk about the importance of the portfolio hosting. I love Behance because when I was working in agencies during my 9 years there, before I switched to tech companies, I was like spending hours every day scrolling through Behance. I was trying to become popular there myself. That was my first attempt in my personal branding, by the way, and that's why I have kinda warm feelings towards that. Yet since the time I used to work in agencies, the situation and the perception of Behance in the industry has changed. The reason for that is that Behance was bought by Adobe. And since that has happened, the platform is losing in popularity. However, in some markets, it is still very popular. I noticed that people from India and from Eastern Europe, they tend to use Behance more, but it's not the case for Western-based companies. I wanted to specifically highlight that it's not bad that you use Behance, but it just sends certain signals. And we're going to talk about those signals. The first signal that I could get is that this person is probably interested in working in agencies. And for Narmina, I think it is true because she's working in a Raufeld, which is an agency here in Berlin. And this is good then because she's not sending me mixed signals. I could assume she would want to work in agencies going forward and that she has the recent experience working there, and that's why her portfolio is placed on Behance. Yet, if you want to work in a tech company, choosing Behance might not be a good idea. Because for product designers, Behance was never popular. There are multiple reasons for that. I think it is more of a historical background, and in some point in time, product designers wanted to separate from agencies folks, and that's why they prefer different platforms. Maybe even Notion would be more suitable for a product designer's portfolio than Behance now. The second reason is that Behance is very unfamiliar and very foreign for founders and PMs and product leads and other people in the tech company that might be your hiring managers. Again, it's not specifically bad, it's not something that will necessarily ruin your hiring chances. It will just not allow you to use the full potential of your work when you are applying to tech companies. And also to my taste in 2025, Behance just look slightly outdated. There is this empty space that is not used. Yes, you can place there the banner and you can tell a bit more about yourself, but Narmina is not utilizing that. And I think if the banner would be there, that would make this page even more heavy. And overall, we have a lot of things there that are already noisy and distract the attention from the actual Narmina's work. It's this Adobe login, it's this gray hover on the thumbnail, and the overall very heavy left side panel. But it is in a nutshell sort of a social network / Upwork where you look for a freelancer for your job. So that's why for them it is okay to have that noise around. But in terms of the perception of the portfolio, it lacks this clarity and crispness that a personal website would give everyone. Yet again, if your goal is to work in agencies and you are very popular on Behance already, you can use this platform. It will not be sending any bad or mixed signals. So I think for Narmina it overall works, so it's up to her if she wants to do that. Let's dive into the actual project and see what is there. I told you already that I think this is a fantastic portfolio for an agency-focused designer. First of all, I see that she works in a combination of branding and UI design, which is also a winning skill set for somebody who wants to work in agencies. And I like her execution level very, very much. So we can see how refined is the UI here. We can see the nice looking design system here. And overall screen layout is also very nice here. The accents are placed on the correct places and it gives me this Uber vibes that I also appreciate. This skill level will allow Narmina to stand out when she will be looking for a job in an agency. Here we can also see that, as with every portfolio of an agency-focused designer, we don't see a lot of interim stages. We basically jump right in to the actual designs that were executed. And this is completely normal. 2 weeks ago, I was reviewing another portfolio of an agency-focused designer, and there we talked a lot about this phenomenon. And if your goal is to land a job in an agency, this is also something that you can do. I was actually thinking about a metaphor that could make this distinction stick to my listeners, and I was thinking about a very mundane example. Imagine that you have a car or a bicycle and you want it to be repaired, and you are just a regular user of this type of vehicle. That's why when you will be looking for a professional to repair your car, you might not need all those details and what exactly did they use throughout the process to repair the similar type of a car. But imagine that you would want to hire an employee in your car repair shop. Then probably you would want to know what exactly do they use in order for you to assess their maturity level. This is exactly what we need to keep in mind when we're looking for a job either in an agency or in a tech company. In an agency, all focus is placed on our clients, and our portfolios shall be done in a way to convince them that we can do the same type of job for them that they require. As UX UI designers, this is the same distinction that we can keep in mind. Who is our audience? And yes, technically, you might highlight that if you will be applying with this portfolio to an agency, then that means that an agency will look for you as a colleague. Yet, because the whole life of an agency is so focused around clients, it is completely normal to assess your portfolio as being client-based, because technically many agency-focused designers can use their portfolios both for searching clients and for searching agencies. Agencies, they always keep that in mind, and it is clear why it's not also recommended to create two portfolios, one for clients, another for agencies, and they are completely fine with that because they can always also follow up on your processes and methods during the interview process. And overall, you will be given much more freedom working in an agency on a client project than you will have in an in-house company, because in an in-house company you will have cross-functional teams and there are expectations on how you work with those cross-functional teams, and they have to be familiar with your processes, and you have to be overall very predictable. My hope is this metaphor will help you to keep in mind why the approach to portfolios of UX UI designers might be so different and why we see this example here. By the way, if you like this video and you want to receive more videos like that, then give me thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below. That's important for me and for YouTube algorithms to start recommending you similar videos. And we are moving on. Let's finish on this case study, and I have only one thing to add here or to recommend, is that for this level of execution that Narmina has, I would wish to see more UI animations. UI animations can overall make a portfolio stand out a bit more. They highlight that you placed a lot of effort there, and they overall grab the attention of a viewer, because we humans, we love moving objects. It's way more entertaining to see them. And the third reason why animations are so important is that they allow me to understand that you are thinking not in terms of the screens, but in terms of the user flows. And that's why I can see that you can comprehend the user interface holistically, and you can think about like this whole journey that a user will take there. So I recommend adding animations virtually to everyone for every level, but to Narmina it is a especially strong recommendation because she can make her portfolio to be a real banger. Okay, let's have a look to some other projects, although you could already understand that they are very good. That's why we will not be stopping on all of them in details, and the link to this portfolio will be down below so you can explore more of them. I just wanted to highlight another recommendation that I will have to Narmina, is that all her projects, they are done from scratch. And all of them are nice, and I love the execution and the final result, and overall the storytelling is also very visual and it has enough details for me to assess the portfolio from the hiring manager perspective, but at the same time it will not be boring for clients to go through this project as well. But it is always something that she creates from scratch, which is also perfectly normal and expected for agencies. Yet in case she will ever would want to transition to in-house companies, this might not be enough, because I cannot assess a very important skill, is that how she will deal with the real life constraints. In tech companies, we very rarely create something out of nothing. We usually have a legacy, we have a product that we need to improve. And if Narmina would have at least one project where she show that there was something before and she improved, that could strengthen her portfolio even more, and even so for agencies, because agencies sometimes also deal with this problem. There is a client that comes with something already and they need an improvement, they need a redesign, they need a feature addition or something else. And if she has an example from her daily life, that is even better. If no, I would recommend her creating a project from scratch. She can take a project she is familiar with, like Notion, Instagram, whatever, Google Mail, and she could design something for this product. This will help for me to make this portfolio even more universal for different types of agencies, for clients, and for the possible transition to the in-house companies. And that is it. That was overall what I wanted to say for Narmina's portfolio. I think it is a very nice example of an agency-focused portfolio. She's indeed very talented. She's 23 years old, so I could only imagine how well she will develop in the future, and I would definitely want to see what else she will be creating with her skill set. I had the great pleasure walking through her case studies and reading them. It is very engaging for me. I liked the final result a lot, and the link will be down below, so hopefully you can also find some ideas for your own storytelling. And if I would be hiring for an agency, I would definitely call Narmina to talk, because I would see her experience to be very relevant to what I would expect an agency work would be entailing. She could also use this portfolio for obtaining clients, because she struck a really nice balance between explaining her process and jumping to the final result that will be probably the most interesting part to the clients. Remember this metaphor about repairing a car? You just basically want to know if they can deal with your type of the car or not. Before we close this talk, I wanted to highlight only two minor things that I think Narmina can just correct and be done with. That is the first one, that if I hover on the tools, I see the Adobe XD here, and that for me will be something of a surprise, because who else is working in Adobe XD these days? I mean, maybe this is something that you do in your company, but I would doubt that this is the best practice now. I actually thought that it has been deprecated. That's why I'm surprised there. So I would be tentatively thinking if you could add Figma there, or at least Sketch. But Figma would be probably the best choice, because I don't think, if this is outdated, if this is an artifact that Behance has assigned to you, maybe this is also the case, but this is something I think you can correct in no time. The other thing that I would consider is that if you think you can take down some of the projects that you have in your portfolio that are not done in a way that the other projects of yours. I'm talking about projects like that where you basically have only one page placed for the review. And I think overall it looks a bit outdated and you can do much more right now. And you would probably want to avoid hiring managers assessing who were you in 2022 when this was placed, I guess. But you would want to... Yes, I think this is from 2022. I think you want to assess them your current skills. This is also the recommendation for everyone. I know that sometimes it's just hard to take down the projects you might still feel attached to, and maybe 3 years ago you thought it's the great job, that's the best what you can do, but that was the best of what you can do 3 years ago. So maybe cleaning up the portfolio just a bit will not harm here, especially because the recent projects, they are really, really nice. And this is it for today. Hopefully now you have the clear difference between agency and product-focused portfolios, and now you know about the importance of the portfolio hosting. If you like this video and you want to receive more videos like that, then hit the subscribe button down below and click the bell. This way you will get a notification when a new video comes out. And I see you next time.